This Atlantic article, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the editor, Jeffrey Goldberg, made an appearance on CNN, who wrote this article, and Fox News Pentagon correspondent Jennifer Griffin also verifying much of what took place in this article, at least parts of it, and it is in regards to Donald Trump allegedly calling our brave men and women in uniform losers and suckers. And the first time I heard this, me personally, I was not surprised at all. If you recall what he said about John McCain, John McCain's not a hero. He was captured. That, to me, was one of the worst things Donald Trump has ever said. And we know he said that because, he said it on a stage. We had the audio of it. But now, Donald Trump is going after Fox News Pentagon correspondent Jennifer Griffin, calling for her job, even though he said over the weekend he's not for cancel culture, which I find very interesting. So this is Fox News Pentagon correspondent Jennifer Griffin in her own words. She said her sources confirmed parts of the Atlantic article. Have a listen to this.
My sources include 2 senior former Trump administration officials who were on the trip to France. My source did not hear the president call those buried in Ain Marne losers or suckers. The source did, however, say when the president spoke about the Vietnam War, he always said it was a stupid war. Anyone who went was a sucker. According to this source, the president would often say about American veterans, what's in it for them? They don't make any money. The source said it was a character flaw of the president. He could not understand why someone would die for their country, not worth it to him. Separately, during a White House planning session after seeing the Bastille Day parade in France, President Trump did not want to include in his July 4th parade, quote, wounded guys. That's not a good look. Americans don't like that. That's according to this source who was present for those planning meetings.
All right, so why is this a big deal? Well, for starters, this isn't somebody on CNN. This isn't somebody on MSNBC. This isn't a liberal. This isn't a Trump hater. This is Jennifer Griffin, who, by the way, is a very good reporter, and just so happens that she works for Fox News, verifying those parts and more of this article. Now, you're wondering, who wrote this article? Now, I gave you the background on Jeffrey Goldberg, right? He's won a ton of awards. Republicans have praised this guy for decades. So Jeffrey Goldberg, the Atlantic editor who wrote this article, did make an appearance on CNN. And he defended his reporting, and I want you to have a listen to this.
Well, I felt confident publishing it because I have multiple sources with firsthand knowledge of the president's views and comments. That's the only reason to publish anything. And I felt it was important to publish because in my experience, in our collective experience, I don't think we've had a president who has contempt for American soldiers, wounded veterans, people who've been killed in action. And so it's incredibly novel. It's one of these things that's in the category of shocking yet not surprising. And I say not surprising because, to borrow your term, open secrets, or David Ignatius' term, open secret, in 2015, Donald Trump did something that nobody in public life had ever done before, mocked John McCain for getting captured. That in ordinary times, and according to the rules of ordinary politics, that should have ended a candidacy.
I agree with him. And by the way, Donald Trump was asked about that over the weekend. He didn't apologize or backtrack those comments he made about John McCain. His response to it was, well, me and John McCain never got along, and he talked about some of John McCain's policies. If you disagree with somebody's policies, whether it's John McCain, whoever, that's totally fair game. There's nothing wrong with that. But the issue here is this, JD. He wasn't talking about John McCain's policies. He was talking about John McCain being captured as a prisoner of war, and he mocked that. And he said he wasn't a hero because he was captured. There's nothing wrong with going after policy. I think we all agree on that.
He didn't call him a loser for being captured. He called him a loser for losing the presidential election, which he was a loser. He did lose a presidential election. Donald Trump did donate $1 million to his campaign.
So I didn't say that
he also said that he did nothing for veterans. And looking at John McCain's voting record, that seems to be true. He voted as if almost, when he was a senator, as if almost he wanted to weaken the military and punish veterans. That's how poor his voting record was, and I find that to be very interesting, considering the fact that he was a prisoner of war for 6 years. And there's also a group that was formed in I believe it was the early '80s, called Vietnam veterans against John McCain. 571 former Vietnam veterans. Some of them were Republican governors who claimed that John McCain was a Manchurian candidate and was a songbird and was giving secrets to the other side. They claimed he was a traitor.
Okay, so what you just said, again, has nothing to do with the actual comments that Donald Trump made saying that John McCain is not a hero and he doesn't...
He said he was
hold
only...
Hold on. Wait. Hey, Sean, do we have that buzzer? Because I think I was just... I think I was just interrupted. I didn't interrupt you. I'm up 1-0 right now in the interruption category. You got to let me finish. So what was going on there was that he said he didn't respect John McCain because he was captured as a prisoner of war. So all that stuff that you mentioned might very well be true, but it has nothing to do with going after someone for being a POW. That is what we are talking about. I'm not interested in John McCain's policy right now or disagreements that Donald Trump might have or had with John McCain. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. That's not what we're talking about here. We are specifically talking about saying disparaging things about someone who risked his life for this country. That's exactly what Donald Trump did. We don't have to play the audio again. We've played it plenty of times on this show. He doesn't respect John McCain because John McCain was captured. That's unacceptable.
That's what he said one time. He said, I like people that weren't captured. He didn't call him a loser for being captured. I didn't
say he did.
But a lot of people right now in the media are saying that he did. They're using what he called him for losing the presidency, and they're taking that and they're applying it to this, and they're saying, well, that must mean that he said this. And the most salacious part of that, what Jennifer Griffin and Jeffrey Goldberg come up with, that was confirmed, quote unquote, by anonymous sources on Fox News. More anonymous sources confirmed other anonymous sources, by the way, with direct knowledge, so to speak, was the fact that they could not confirm that Donald Trump called these soldiers, these fallen soldiers, losers and suckers. And then you also have John Bolton, who literally wrote a book about Donald Trump, who said it wasn't true. You have the U.S. ambassador to France, who said it wasn't true. Then you have John Kelly, former General John Kelly's top aide, who said if Donald Trump said that around John Kelly, it would not have flown. I've never heard Donald Trump say anything like that. There's been like 10 different people that were all on that trip in that same room, and then you have the FOIA records that confirm that the actual trip was canceled, and it says this in John Bolton's book as well. It was canceled because of weather. And yes, could they have driven? Yes, they could have had a motorcade, but had that motorcade taken place and Donald Trump had visited that particular gravesite, it would have put the president at severe risk because they wouldn't have had enough time to cover it if there was an emergency.
Okay, so folks, here's the definition of hypocrisy. For months now, since the John Bolton book came out, Republicans have been disparaging him. Everything in the book isn't true. He's a disgruntled employee. But see, folks, what's happening right now? If it fits your political narrative, now all of a sudden, everybody's saying, oh, John Bolton, what he's saying must be true. Why? Because John Bolton is simply saying, he's not saying it's not possible. He's not saying that Donald Trump never said those things. He's just saying he never heard him say it personally.
And he's also
exactly right.
Hold on. So now, now all of a sudden now, Republicans are saying, well, John Bolton said it in his book. You know, John Bolton said he never heard Donald Trump say this. So if it fits your political narrative, if you're a Trump supporter, John Bolton has to be telling the truth. But anything disparaging that John Bolton put in this book, it's not true. He's a disgruntled employee. JD, which one is it?
No, what I'm saying is John Bolton wrote that book, obviously, to attack the president. He got paid big money for it, clearly. So why would he not continue to attack the president in that book? It's funny that book that he wrote as a purpose of hurting the president actually has technically absolved the president from this particular situation. It's very, very ironic.
Okay, so
it's not the fact that every single thing in that book may or may not be untrue. I have no idea. But John Bolton wrote the book and included that part in the book. And of that part, and a lot of the rest was very disparaging, that particular part was the exact opposite.
Okay,
and he also said the same thing to the New York Times and Fox News. He confirmed that, yes, I was not there. Yes, there was inclement weather. I did not hear him say that. Could he have said that? Yes, but he also didn't say, well, it was on brand for Donald Trump, and I think he said it. He didn't say anything like that either.
Okay, so this is all about credibility. You didn't believe him before, and now you do, as many other Republicans are. I think that shows what's going on here. It's very simple. Hold on. Play the buzzer again. 3-0.
you're saying that
3-0.
you said I didn't believe him before. No, what I'm saying is that's one of many reasons why I don't think Donald Trump said this. In addition, I could look at what he's done for military since he's gotten into office. I could look at there's videos out there, montages of him meeting and having conversations with parents of fallen soldiers. And you're going to talk. We'll bring up the Kahn family and the Gold Star family, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a lot of evidence, in my opinion, and this John Bolton, this part of this book supports that. It does what you're saying now is you're making it seem like that this John Bolton book part is the sole reason why I don't believe it, and that's not true, Brian.
Okay, so
that's why I technically corrected you. We need to figure out the difference between correcting and interrupting, and blatantly interrupting. There is a difference there. When you say something that is blatantly false, and I correct you, and I do the exact same thing, I don't think that's really interrupting.
Okay, so you didn't correct me on anything. It's very simple. You trashed John Bolton on this very show less than a couple months ago. Now all of a sudden you're giving him credibility because it fits your narrative. I think that speaks volumes here, and I'm speaking the truth. Many other Republicans were trashing John Bolton. Now all of a sudden they want to come to his side. It's absurd, it's hypocrisy, and it's ridiculous. And interrupting, the definition of interrupting is interrupting whether you think I'm right or wrong. I'm up 3-0, so it looks like I'm on my way to a free lunch on a Tuesday. With that being said, I have no doubt John Bolton wrote this book to make money, but it doesn't mean he's not telling the truth. He's probably telling the truth when he said he didn't hear Donald Trump call men and women in uniform losers and suckers. Doesn't mean Donald Trump never said it, but John Bolton's probably telling the truth. Just like in the rest of the book, John Bolton probably isn't making things up. He's probably telling the truth. So the question that I will throw out there now to our listeners is this. In regards to this Atlantic article, do you believe that Donald Trump called our men and women in uniform losers and suckers? We put a poll up on our Twitter page at the Vegas Take. I think we have somewhere around 300 to 400 votes at this time. And 65% of our voters do believe that Donald Trump did call our men and women in uniform suckers and losers. JD gave you his opinion. I gave you my opinion. Yes, I do believe it's true just based on Donald Trump and the things he said in the past. But now we ask you that question. And the number to call if you want to be a part of it is 702-257-5396. Again, that number if you want to be a part of the conversation is 257-5396. We want to hear from you. Do you think it's possible? Listen, we don't know 100%. We'll never know probably 100% unless we have the audio of it. But based on the things he said about John McCain and based on the things that he has said in his past, not just as president of the United States, but before he was president, before he was politician, yes, I do believe that Donald Trump said these things. Again, that number to call is 257-5396. Hey, before we go to break, I want to give you guys the good news of the day. The good news of the day is brought to you by Cashola. Cashola.io. Did you know you can get paid just by watching and clicking on ads? That's right. That is actually good news, by the way. And so go to Cashola.io where you can get paid to play. That is good news because I did watch a lot of ads over the weekend. I watched a lot of sports and a lot of ads as well. So we're taking your phone calls. Again, that number to call, 702-257-5396. Do you think it's possible that Donald Trump called our brave men and women in uniform losers and suckers? When you go after John McCain and you say you don't respect him because he was captured and you say he's not a hero, I don't think that is out of the realm of possibility. So your call.